Hello, my name's Toby Thompson. I'm here today with Ian Iceton. Ian Iceton's a doctoral researcher here at Cranfield. Ian, you're doing a rather interesting piece of research. Tell us more about that.
Thank you. I'm looking at neurodiversity in the workplace, and in particular looking at people that are on the autism spectrum and the experiences that they have both finding work and the challenges once they're in work.
I've never heard the phrase neurodiversity. That's the first time I'm hearing it. That's because it's looking at not just autism but the wider spectrum?
The neurodiversity is a relatively new phrase to cover beyond just autism, so perhaps people that are dyslexic or dyscalcular or some other disabilities. So there's a wide spectrum of neurodiversity. In particular within that, I'm specifically interested in those adults that are on the autism spectrum, got autism spectrum disorder, and the experiences that they have in a workplace context.
So why is that important in the workplace context? Why are you looking at it?
I think it's important for a number of reasons. Firstly, all the evidence is that people on the autism spectrum have a much higher level of unemployment, or at least underemployed, compared to the average. I think the statistics suggest maybe 85% of people that are on the autism spectrum do not work, which is a great waste to the economy. And what's particularly interesting is that in recent times, the level of diagnosis of people on the autism spectrum has got much higher. So it's now becoming clearer that we've got a lot more people that are affected by this situation. And in many cases, some of those people will already be in the workplace. So as an employer, you've probably got people that are on the autism spectrum you might not even have been aware of, and they may not yet have disclosed to you that they are, but they will be. And what's really fascinating to me is these people actually, although it is a spectrum and it's not a stereotype, they bring a very different perspective to the workplace. So in a world where we've got skill shortages, they can bring a difference of opinion, a difference of view that could be very, very useful. And of course, what I'm starting to find is that as organisations and line managers work out how to look after these people and deal with these people in a better way, they actually become better line managers for all employees. So there's a kind of a peripheral benefit that helps the organisation wider.
So in terms of what you found out so far, who's the audience for that sort of thing? Is it the employers? Is it the individual people looking for employment in those organisations? Who are you looking
at? So it's all of those things. So obviously the autistic community themselves are obviously really, really keen to find opportunities and find ways to get a high level of employment than currently exists. Many organisations are starting to get switched on to the fact that these people do bring great opportunities, and there are also, both from a kind of society point of view, from a government level, but also lots of agencies like the National Autism Society that are recognising that whereas previously we've tended to focus a lot of research around autism in children and look at education, that actually we're now realising that there's been an underinvestment and an underdevelopment in thinking about the opportunities for adults on the autism spectrum. So there is a wide range of people that I think will benefit from the research that I'm looking into.
And the top three are the first things you found out in your research. You're halfway through at this point.
Yes.
What are the top things that you've
discovered? One of the most obvious things is that the level of research in this area specifically is very limited. It's a very sort of new, nascent topic. There are a number of organisations, very switched on organisations, that are starting to develop some new thinking, but it's very much from a practitioner-led point of view, and we don't know yet whether the robust science backs that up. There's some really interesting things where people are looking at programmes or internships specifically targeting people on the autism spectrum. But what we don't know yet is how successful that they are and whether they deal with all the elements that a business might need to consider. So from the autistic person's point of view themselves, from the line manager point of view, but also from a HR function point of view, do we need to change policy? For example, recruitment is a big challenge in this area, and historically we've kind of moved towards a system where we say if we treat everyone the same, we're being fair to people. Well, actually treating people that have an hidden difference might not be being fair to them. So it's a real challenge to conventional HR thinking about these people, and actually can we learn from this situation to benefit everybody.
You've described a very wide range there. Is there something specifically that you're interested in from where you've come from?
Yes.
And what you do?
Yeah, so I've particularly focused on two areas. One is specifically recruitment that I mentioned, that I think that we've historically, from a HR point of view, had certain things where we've said we always assume that you'll do an interview, and we'll always assume that you need interpersonal skills, when actually many roles really don't need interpersonal skills, and actually an interview for someone with autism spectrum disorder might be the least effective way of finding the best people. So I'm particularly interested in the recruitment processes and whether we need to think about recruitment differently. But also, I'm really interested in the situation where we've got people on the autism spectrum that are already in organisations. In many cases, perhaps have been there a long time, might have only had a diagnosis themselves later in life, may or may not have even disclosed that to their employer, and may have had challenges because of their differences, where they've been considered difficult to manage by line managers, which is not them being difficult, but it actually is who they are. And I actually think there's a great opportunity to for the HR community generally to help line managers handle people who it's becoming clearer are on the autism spectrum but are valuable workers, to make that relationship work better than they have previously. So I'm really interested in that type of situation.
So you're in the middle of your research, you're about to embark on the data gathering. Who are you talking to in terms of finding out more about? You mentioned line managers quite a few times.
Yes, so absolutely, line managers will be crucial to this, as will the autistic community themselves. I'm also interested, I come from a HR functional background, and I think people who are setting policy in this area are going to be really critical in this area, so I'm interested in speaking to them as well. So I'm interested in the different perspectives and try and triangulate the different things so that I don't miss something in the process of looking at this in more detail.
So Ian, if you're looking for people to help you with the research, how do they get in contact, or what do you want from them?
So I would be particularly interested in hearing from people or organisations that would be interested in becoming involved in the research, either as individuals, if they are on the autism spectrum and are either currently in work or have been in work and have recognised some of the things that I've talked about, or from a HR point of view, or the corporate point of view, or from line managers' point of view. I'm interested in individuals and companies. They can contact me directly by responding to this post, or they can contact me through my Cranfield email address, which is ian.iceton@cranfield.ac.uk.
You heard it here first. Thank you, Ian, very much for talking about your subject. We'll see you more online.